Okay, so this is Kevin during sports. Come on! Really, LeBron? Oh, God. Be like, what? What? Come on! Oh my God. I can't. Like, what are they doing? I don't understand. Like, okay, go. No, let's go! Let's go! That is an accurate imitation of him watching sports.
That's a little exaggerated, but...
No, it is not. That's the funny part. If I were to do a video side by side, same thing.
Sorry, now you're a sports fan, so...
No, I'm not. No.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Well, today we're going to have kind of an interesting video. So I kind of wanted to discuss a topic more than like helpful tips and things. So a lot of this is going to be kind of opinion, but also kind of my mindset on certain things. So what I wanted to talk about and what I want to talk about with you is why CEOs and athletes get paid so much. Why is that? They get paid millions and millions of dollars sometimes.
Yeah, that is a good question. Why grown men are getting paid so much to run around all the time. So yeah.
So for example, like the NFL commissioner one year made $44 million. Wow.
I want to make that kind of money.
Okay. So why is that? So let's think about it. So the NFL, let's use the NFL as an example. Okay. The NFL makes several billion, I think it's upwards of like $10 billion annually.
That's crazy.
So between their TV, events, and everything around it, they make about $10 billion in revenue or thereabouts. And if they're not there yet, they will be one day. So when you have that revenue coming in, you have to think about how are you going to split it up. So you have players, you have owners who own the teams, and you have everybody within the organization, who include the players technically, and then you have all of the workers at the stadium, and you have all of the vendors that rely on the stadium events, and the restaurants that get money from people going to the stadiums and all of the extra stuff. So it's really more of an economic thing than anything.
I was about to say, so it just involves a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you have that kind of revenue in, you have to think, okay, well, how are we going to split this up? Like, who deserves to get what? And what the NFL does is they have a union for the players, and then they have the regular organization, and they may have a union for some of their employees, but as far as I know, they don't. It's just the players. So every so often, the union, the players, and the owners who represent the teams have what's called a collective bargaining agreement. So what that means is the players have formed a union back in the day where they said, we are all going to band together and demand whatever terms, higher pay, better work conditions, I guess you would say.
Okay.
So whatever it is, the unions get together and they say, we're not going to work until these conditions are met.
Okay.
Then the owners either say, no, that's okay, we don't want to meet those conditions, so you can leave, basically. We won't pay you, we'll get somebody else to do the job. Or they can say, okay, that's fine, we'll pay that and we can agree to those terms. And then those terms are adhered to until the next collective bargaining agreement when it's revisited, and you can make new terms and things. So that's been going on for a while. So that's how the players now receive roughly half of their revenue from the NFL. They get roughly 50% of revenue goes to player salaries. So if you think about each individual team, there's 32 teams in the NFL. They divide up half that for the players. The players basically get 50%, and the owners / organization gets the other 50%. So we think about that in terms of there's 32 NFL teams, and so those 32 teams will split roughly $5 billion revenue, and they split that between their players and the coaches and everything. So the players get a huge chunk of that in their salaries. So when you think about it, splitting that up 32 ways, $5 billion, means that the players are going to be getting a lot of money. And the reason why they get all that money is because they generate a lot of money. So this brings me to my lesson number one, and probably my only lesson. You are paid based off of your value in the marketplace. You are not paid based off of how good you are at something, necessarily. You are not paid based off of how well you do the thing. Like, you can spend your whole life being as good as possible at something, and it doesn't mean you're ever going to get paid for it. And you have to be in something where there is revenue to be had. Like there's something to get from it. So if you are in a business that makes $100, you're not ever going to be getting paid $1,000 because the business doesn't make $1,000. So these are important lessons to remember. Is that in the player's case, in the NFL player's case, or whatever sport, the reason why they make so much money is because they generate so much money. So if you go out and generate $10 billion, I guarantee you will be making millions of dollars. So that's all you have to do in the marketplace. It's very simple. Now the execution part obviously is not easy. It's hard, otherwise everybody would do it. But it definitely is possible, and it's something that I think everybody should be thinking about, and that's why your brand is important. That's why what you do and leading in your thing and your endeavor is important. So that brings me to my CEO point. The reason why CEOs make so much money is because if, let's say, you become CEO of Pepsi, then Pepsi, let's say, generates $10 billion as well, just throwing out rough numbers. If you get Pepsi's revenue to go up by $2 billion, then technically you led the charge on increasing your company's worth by $2 billion. So how do you quantify how much you deserve in compensation for that? Well, there's no set way. It's not like there's something on high that says, oh, you get 10% of that. Yeah. It's determined by board of directors and all kinds of things. So if you generate $2 billion worth of revenue in addition to your company, then you're probably going to be making a decent cut of that because you generated that, and you should deserve to be paid a little more for that. And I do think that is deserved. If you do good work, you deserve to reap the benefits from it. That's why we all want to do great work. And the opposite direction is the same thing. If you are the head of Pepsi and you drop their revenue to $7 billion, then you deserve to have your pay slashed because you dropped the revenue. We're all paid off of performance and commission. Even if you make a salary, you're paid off of commission. You're paid off of how well you do something and what you do to generate value and revenue in the marketplace. So if you want to make more money, figure out how to make yourself more valuable. Don't figure out how to do your job better. That may be a part of it. Don't think of how do I barely scrape by and do my 40-hour week and go home. You have to think about how can I do better? How can I generate more revenue for my company? And how can I make my teammates, your managers, and your people you work with that are on the same level as you, how do I make their jobs easier? Because there's huge value in you doing the work of others, and you'll learn from it, and then people will see that eventually. It's worth it. You gotta put the work in up front though. So my point being with that whole rant is that the reason why CEOs and athletes make so much is because they generate so much. So if you want to be like athletes and CEOs, figure out how to make yourself valuable in the marketplace, and all that will come. You too can do it. Anybody can do it. Any person can come up with an idea, make it happen, and be worth whatever, millions or billions even. So you can do it. Go out and make it happen. So any thoughts?
No, I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think it is kind of true. Even being an actor, you kind of see that with all these influencers stuff happening, it's usually the people that have the most followers and most popular posts and everything. They're the people that are making all this money. So I feel like it makes sense, and it's definitely a trend that you see even in other aspects of marketing and other areas of careers and stuff like that. So it definitely makes sense, and you see it, and yeah, I get it. I don't, I'm not mad at the men that are just running around all the time making so much money. So I get it.
So for example, in the entertainment field, the highest paid actors are not the best actors. They are the actors that bring in the most audience. There is a difference. If we were handing out salaries to the best actors, that would be really cool, but it just doesn't happen. The best actors don't always make the most money because while it's really great to be a great actor, and it's something you should definitely strive to do, you're not necessarily generating a ton of money. So you may be in kind of like an art house film that's really good, like one of the best films of all time, but if it makes $2 million, you're not going to make a whole lot from that movie. The revenue's just not there. But if you're in Titanic and it makes $2 billion, you're going to be making a decent amount from that because there's enough to give out. So that's an important distinction that I think people sometimes forget, is that you're not paid off of necessarily how good you are at something, you are paid off of how valuable you are. So how many seats can you bring to the theater? not how well can I do this job. So something important to think about. You want to have, ideally, you want to have both. The best people in their fields, I believe, have both. People like Oprah. I think Oprah is a great host and content creator, but she's also very business savvy and knows the value of her work and how she can provide value to others.
Yeah.
So, and most of all, I would say my last tip: always think about how you can give instead of how you can get. Instead of being like, well, how do I get more money and salary or benefits or whatever? How do I get people to give me more? No, you'll never get anywhere that way. You always want to think in terms, how can I give something to somebody?
Yeah.
You can never get anything until you've given something first. So always remember that, and remember to give before you can receive. So.
Isn't he the best? Oh.
That's why we want to give to you guys, give you videos and all of our content, which you should check out, and make sure to check out all of our past videos and hit that notification bell, and so that you know when we make new videos. And we got a bunch of stuff coming up we're excited about, so be sure to check in, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
This is his shirt. He just gave it to me because I don't know.
Did you want to wear it?
No.
Sorry, I'm wearing pink.
I don't understand. Okay.